G'day and welcome to Garden Clinic TV. Well, the cost of veggies is going through the roof. And for those that have been growing their veggies at home, you're on a real winner. But I want everyone that's watching to be growing their own vegetables on a windowsill, on a balcony, or out in the garden. You're really going to save a lot of money. But there's another upside to it. You know that it hasn't been sprayed with any chemicals at all, so that you're getting a really healthy dose of vitamins and nutrition, and of course all the fibre and flavours that your homegrown veggies will bring. So there's a lot of bonuses in growing your own, as well as saving a heap load of money. In the autumn edition of Your Garden magazine, we had a special offer in there for some Fothergill seeds. Well, we had a tremendous response to it, and I managed to get a couple of the different varieties just to show you. You can see them there. There's a big range of really wholesome, flavoursome varieties of veggies that you can grow yourself. And the great thing is, many of them you can sow straight into pots or straight into the ground. It's what we call direct sowing. Now, some of them, like the beetroot, might need a bit of overnight soaking in a little jar of water, but all of them can be sown straight into your soil, into the pots or into the garden. Now, I actually started a couple of weeks ago and I've had some real success already. Yes, I did have some in my glass house, others I had on a windowsill, and they've all germinated really quickly. Like these spring onions, they came up very, very quickly. I did actually sow them a week before, so they're about 3 weeks old, and they're already coming up. I've divided them and thinned them out, and look at the crop now. These are really going well, but they are a slow crop, a bit like leeks. Most of the onion family are very slow to harvest. So I've got them at the front of the bed here. I can access them later, and they're not interfering because they'll be sitting there for a long time. They won't interfere with the rest of my harvest. So what have I already sown? Some carrots, all year round carrots. Just about anywhere in Australia you can sow this particular variety any month of the year. I've been sowing these in another bed, I think for about 7 years in a row. I do have to replenish the soil, but you've got to be careful with a lot of these seeds, carrots in particular. You don't want to over-fertilise the soil. Side dress the crops that need that extra feeding, like the spinach and the silver beet. You can side dress those later as they start to grow. But don't have your soil too rich of fertilisers. So I've got the carrots, they're just starting to germinate. What have we got here? Oh, English spinach. I love it, especially in a smoothie in the morning. All the nutrition and antioxidants you could ever want. And just you throw in a few other goodies into there and you've got a great, refreshing and nutritious drink early in the morning. And then, of course, some radish. My grandson loves the radish and they're coming up very quickly. I'll need to be thinning those out fairly shortly. And some more carrots, but they've been very slow. Now, the thing with carrots, by the way, is that a lot of people buy seedling carrots and then don't have success. And it's because you've already got a little taproot on your seedlings. But when you're growing them direct into the soil, they will grow straight down and you get nice, long, straight carrots, as you do with parsnips, another great crop to be sowing at this time of the year. Couple of little tips. So what have I done here before I started planting all of these here? Well, I raked it all out. I sieved some of the soil because you don't want the seeds hitting little rocks and pebbles. Look at this. This is what I collected out of this garden bed here, a pile of little rocks and sticks. So when the seeds are going down, especially those with a taproot, if they hit those little rocks or sticks and things, they'll divide and you end up with a cranky looking carrot or parsnip or whatever. Then I put some cow manure right through the bed and some of my homemade compost out of my compost heap. So I spread that out, dug it through, and now it's ready to plant. Now the cow manure and the compost is not loaded with nutrition. It's a nice, gentle way to feed. No fertiliser at this stage. I won't be doing that until the crops have actually germinated and starting to grow, and then I'll side dress them, maybe with a liquid or possibly with an organic-based fertiliser. Now, let's get in and I'll show you how we sow them. Okay, now just to get a little straight row, you can use the handle of a rake or a stake, whatever you like. Just sets up the row. In fact, I'll put in 2 rows. That'll give me a lot of carrots coming up later in the year. As you can see, carrot seed is really fine. Now you've got a couple of options. Just sprinkling it out, trying to spread the little seeds out, because you'll need to thin them out later when they come up, or they'll be on top of each other and you won't get any good carrots. Or, if you're careful, you can just tap them out of the little packet, just a couple at a time, bit of space, and that way you're covering, getting the good row and spreading them out. Then just with your fingers, just lightly cover the soil over the top of the seeds, not too deep. And that's why the little bamboo or a stake rake handle is just about the right depth for sowing your seeds. Any deeper and the seed will have trouble germinating and coming up. Now, if you're unsure about sowing really fine seed like these carrot seeds, then there is another option for any fine seed at all, and that is to get a little jar of sand and then put your seed into that. Put your lid on, make sure that there's a lot more sand than there is seed, nice and tight, and then give it a really good shake so that you've got 80% sand and 10%, 20% seed. Okay, give it another little swirl and then just sow the sand out and some of the seed. And that way you're actually spreading the seed out and just sowing some of the sand. And it's a simple way to get the right sort of spacing of your seed. So seed sowing is really simple. I know a lot of people get frightened off by it because the seeds are really tiny. I've shown you there just how simple it is, and in a few weeks you can see they start to germinate. Then you've really got your harvest and your crop starting to grow. It's a great way to get engaged to produce your own healthy vegetables. And again, there's no chemicals involved. You know that they're going to be really healthy for you and your whole family. And there are so many ways of saving money with beetroot. It's expensive to buy beetroot when you can grow your own, even in a pot or a tub. Spinach, carrots, all of these, bok choy, they grow so quickly and you'll get a great harvest. And as I said, save some money. And when the harvest comes on, you'll have a lot of friends and neighbours. I've got my grandkids come around and help me with the harvest, and they just love it because they can pull them straight out of the ground, wash them under a tap and eat them in the garden. How good's that? So if you like the segment, subscribe to the channel and we'll see you again real soon. Go safely.